Hi friends, in this video we are going to discuss that why Shakespeare chose to write Macbeth. So in order to understand it is very important to know that it was the time when kingship was concerned, or it was linked with the concept of divine right of kingship. And this concept means that kings are appointed on earth by God. Like, kings are not questionable to people, or rather they are questionable to God. So any rebellion against king was considered as the rebellion against God. And if there is any rebellion against kingship, so in that time it was considered that nature would work against it. um, if you consider the tenure of Elizabeth I, or you consider the tenure of James I, in both of their periods, they had some rejections, or they had some contradictions by people. Like, Shakespeare was born in 1564, and Elizabeth I was made the queen in 1557 after the death of her sister, Mary I. So when she was made the queen, her period was very, that it was a stabilized time, that in her period literacy rate increased, knowledge was created, and her government and policies were very strong. But still with that, she was counterfeited by the concept of king's two bodies. King's two bodies actually means that there are two bodies in kingship. One is king's natural body, another is body politic, means body natural and body politic. Body natural means that our body, mortal body, which is subject to death and birth, and it is subject and prone to all infirmities that come by nature or by accident. While body politic is a body that consists of policies and government and constitutions. But people at that time were not ready to acknowledge that female can also be a queen, or she can also govern any land. So they counterfeited her, and they stood against her. King's two bodies, it was said that body poetic is more stronger and it is larger, while body natural is weaker, and somehow you can say that it's small and it's weak, while body poetic is larger and it is more stronger. And they said that when these two bodies combine, that body poetic strongness also eliminates that weakness in body natural. And people said that Queen Elizabeth I was a female, and like all females are more prone to lust and all these things. So they thought that Elizabeth I is not acceptable for them, and they thought that whoever she is going to marry, a kingship would be transferred to that person. And while in the period of James I, there were rebellion against him, like there was gunpowder plot, and even when there was time when kings were considered as people who were appointed by God. The main purpose of Shakespeare to write Macbeth was to support the divine right of kingship. He wanted, if this natural order is somehow disturbed, then some unnatural things are going to happen, or it won't lead to any goodness. Like you can see in Macbeth, that Macbeth and Lady Macbeth plots against King Duncan. And when they plot against them, their ending was also not good. Lady Macbeth somehow turned mad, and she faced the issues of walking in sleep, while King Macbeth was also seeing the ghost, that his unconsciousness also took over him, and he was not able to behave as normal as he used to be earlier. Not only in Macbeth, Shakespeare also showed this in other plays like Hamlet and King Lear. These plays also show that these also support the idea of divine right of kingship. So Shakespeare also added historical background of Scotland, like King Duncan was the real king in 11th century, and King Macbeth fought against him, and King Macbeth was made the king by a civil war, and his kingship lasted for 11 years. So these are also the truths that he added this historical background of Scotland in order to please King James I. James I believed in witches, and he was of the view that witches are the supporters of devil. They work against the kingship. He also wrote a book on witches, which was demonology. He also presided many events that included the persecution of witchcraft and witches in Scotland. So Shakespeare added these in the play of Macbeth. So, briefly speaking, the main purpose of Shakespeare to write Macbeth was to support the idea of divine right of kingship and to please King James I and to show the Scottish background. And he also added these witches, which King James I believed to highly support King James I.